Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Yes 101's Visual Radio for the Newsfirst team. I'm Nithmini De Silva.
And I'm Kenza Farooq. Now, before we take a look at your news in detail, let's take a look at your headlines.
Newsfirst headline.
Starting off with your local news, calling of proposals to restructure 7 state enterprises concludes. Prime Minister says Sri Lanka is committed to ensure free trade flow in the Indian Ocean. In international news, 45 killed in bus crash in South Africa. Finally, in sports, in tennis, Elena Rybakina beats Victoria Azarenka to reach Miami Open final.
Now for the news in detail. The government says the calling of proposals with regard to the restructuring of 7 state-owned enterprises has concluded. Now, the state-owned enterprises restructuring unit says Litrogas, Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lanka Telecom, Hilton Hotel, Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation, Lanka Hospitals and Kelvin Holdings will be restructured. The unit says it received proposals from local and foreign companies. Further measures related to the restructuring process will be carried out promptly.
Moving on to more local news, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says Sri Lanka is committed to the maritime lanes of the Indian Ocean to keep it free for all trade to flow from West Africa to East of Asia. Addressing the Bao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2024, the Prime Minister pledged Sri Lanka's support to continue to work together in this regard. The Premier said Sri Lanka's port development has taken a new turn of an advanced port development with the assistance of China. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said Sri Lanka's Colombo port will become a hub of a new developed port with financial instruments that could cater to the new demands that are growing among countries for development and investment. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena called upon the Asian countries to rededicate themselves to building an Asia free from poverty where prosperity is equitably shared.
Now, moving on to other local news. Today marks Good Friday, which commemorates the memory of Jesus Christ's sacrifice, death and crucifixion. Christians observe Good Friday with fasting and church services, with a 3-hour service to be held in Catholic churches today. Easter marks the day Jesus was resurrected or emerged from the tomb in which he was laid after being crucified, and Easter Sunday falls on the 31st this year. Police spokesman DIG Attorney Nihal Thalduwa says a special security program is in place surrounding all churches for the Good Friday and Easter Sunday services for the people's safety. The police spokesman says traffic police were also deployed to ease the traffic flow, while measures will be taken to deploy Triforce's personnel if the need arises.
International news.
In your international news for this afternoon, 45 people have died in South Africa after the bus they were in plunged some 50 meters off a bridge into a ravine. An 8-year-old girl, the only survivor, was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. The bus crashed through a barrier and caught fire when it hit the ground in the northeastern Limpopo province.
Sports news.
Now, moving on to sports news. Fourth seed Elena Rybakina moved into the Miami final for the 2nd straight year with a gutsy win against Victoria Azarenka in a deciding tiebreak. Kazakhstan's Rybakina recovered from an awful second set to win 6-4, love 6, 7-6 against the Belarusian. Rybakina showed resilience in the final stages, having led 5-3 before losing serve at 5-4 as Azarenka leveled. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Yes 101's Visual Radio. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nithmini De Silva.
And I'm Kenza Farooq, and thank you for watching.